What really happened with Snow White? And is there somebody that we can blame?
Something's seriously rotting in the Magic Kingdom, and no, it's not the poison apple, it's Disney itself. The once untouchable empire is now melting down faster than Olaf in July, and at the center of it all, a fairy tale gone totally feral. Let's rewind. Remember when Snow White was hyped as Disney's next big reimagined masterpiece? A $250 million zero-cents legacy reboot that was supposed to redefine girl power and enchant a new generation? Yeah, well, instead of glitter, Disney got ashes. This wasn't just a flop, this was the flop. The kind of studio nightmare that keeps executives awake with cold sweats. And the juicy cherry on top, a full-blown feud between the film's two leading ladies.
It doesn't look real at all.
Yeah, and then like they do all the work while she dances around being a leader or whatever. The script was
Wait a
screwed
minute,
from
how
the
much
start.
did this cost? They should get Doge looking at this movie. They spent $250 million making that movie.
Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. We're talking diva drama, PR disasters, and a backstage blow-up that's got all of Hollywood whispering. Sure, the movie opened at $43 million, 0 cents domestically, with another $44,300,000, 0 cents from overseas. But let's not kid ourselves. That's pocket change for Disney. They spent $250 million on this fairy tale, and it couldn't even outfly Dumbo. Yep, you heard that right, lower than Dumbo. And say what you will about that floppy-eared elephant, but at least he managed to make $45 million, 0 cents, opening weekend.
Snow White bombs, breaks records for the lowest live-action remake opening ever.
Snow White couldn't even do that. And for Gal Gadot, that was it. That was the moment she mentally packed up her evil queen crown and quietly started backing away from the wreckage. Word on the street is, Gal didn't just feel disappointment, she felt betrayal. Sources say the tension between Gal and Rachel had been bubbling way before the cameras even started rolling. Rachel's bold Gen Z energy clashed hard with Gal's seasoned-polished Hollywood charm. One's all fiery opinions and feminist rants, the other's all grace, diplomacy, and don't rock the boat branding. Now throw in the fact that Gal's a mom of 4 and a seasoned pro, while Rachel's just getting her feet wet in stardom, and it was a recipe for disaster. Then came the comment that lit the fuse. Rachel Zegler, in a now infamous interview, basically called the original 1937 Snow White creepy and outdated. Oh, and she said the prince was a stalker. Yes, really. That comment didn't just ruffle feathers, it lit them on fire.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Fans were horrified, but guess who was livid behind the scenes? Gal. Sources say Gal felt like Rachel wasn't just criticizing an old film, she was torching the very legacy they were hired to honor. You don't disrespect the crown while you're wearing it, one insider reportedly said. And Gal, she was seething, silently watching Rachel turn the press tour into a battlefield. And Rachel didn't stop. Oh no, she fanned the flames with gasoline. She doubled down in interviews, claiming the new film was reinventing the story entirely, and not in a nostalgic way. For generations of Disney fans who grew up humming "Someday My Prince Will Come," this wasn't empowerment, it was insult. Suddenly, people were wondering, did Rachel even like Snow White? Did she want this role? Or was she just here to bash the legacy and cash a check? Then the internet went full Sherlock. An old clip of Rachel resurfaced, and it was bad. She admitted the original Snow White scared her as a child, and she'd never cared to revisit it.
Stay for the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
By now, fans weren't just annoyed. They were furious. Gal, who had sat beside Rachel in that very same interview, had been nothing but respectful. She praised the story. She spoke with love for her role as the evil queen. And now, she was stuck in a PR avalanche she didn't ask for. But even through all of Rachel's chaotic soundbites, Gal stayed composed. She posed, she smiled, she played the press game like the pro she is. But the frost between these two? Yeah, it was Ice Age level, and the 2025 Academy Awards confirmed everything. There they were, Rachel and Gal, on stage together, glammed up, fake smiles locked in, teleprompter glowing, no eye contact, no shared laughter, no warmth. It was like watching two strangers forced to carpool. And the drama didn't stop there. After the Oscars, fans noticed a shady little Instagram comment. Rachel allegedly referred to Gal as a professional pageant queen. Sounds innocent? Not in Hollywood. That's code for all looks, no talent. Insiders say Gal took that one personally and hard. It didn't help that behind the scenes, things had already been spiraling. A Page 6 source described Rachel as completely out of control. That wasn't an exaggeration.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious.
She wasn't just unfiltered, she was defiant, even as Disney was trying to do damage control. Then came the Middle East tweet. Right in the thick of promo season, Rachel hit send on a polarizing political post. Fans exploded, critics erupted, politicians jumped in, and Disney, they went into panic mode. Studio bigwig Mark Platt reportedly flew to New York to personally beg Rachel to delete the post and de-escalate. But she wasn't having it. She kept the tweet up and kept engaging with fans. That post didn't just make waves, it caused a storm. And in the middle of it all, Gal, who, despite having very different political views, got dragged into the chaos. Disney had to hire extra security for her and her family. Meanwhile, the movie was inching closer to release, and the headlines were getting uglier. Rachel wasn't just getting hate online, she was being harassed in real life. Fans were showing up outside her apartment, screaming, throwing slurs. It was horrifying. But here's the kicker. Disney ramped up security for Gal, but for Rachel, nothing. Zip, nada. The silence was deafening, and fans...
To be able to tell her story and to get under her skin was an incredible process for me. I enjoyed it so much.
So let's talk about it. Disney, the same company that prides itself on fairy dust, diversity, and protecting its talent, was caught playing favorites. Gal Gadot got the bodyguards, Rachel Zegler got the cold shoulder. And no one could deny it anymore. This wasn't just a PR nightmare, it was a complete studio meltdown. People started asking the hard questions. Why protect one actress and leave the other hanging? Was it because Gal kept her mouth shut and smiled for the cameras? Was it because Rachel was unpredictable? Or was there something darker going on? Whatever the reason, the damage was done. Disney no longer had one united princess queen front for Snow White. They had two feuding actresses and a full-blown civil war bubbling beneath the surface. The response? Damage control. First move? Cancel the UK premiere. No red carpet, no dual glam shots, no awkward interviews where Gal and Rachel pretend to like each other. In its place, carefully staged separate events. Rachel Zegler was shipped off to Spain to perform in a musical castle shoot far, far away from press madness.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations. Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Meanwhile, Gal Gadot was whisked off to Disneyland, grinning ear to ear, hugging kids, posing with Mickey Mouse like the queen of enchanted PR. But come on, everyone knew, everyone felt it. This wasn't a fairy tale. This was corporate warfare wrapped in a glittery bow. There were no joint interviews, no cozy behind-the-scenes clips, just one woman smiling for the cameras and the other quietly vanishing from the spotlight. And still, the drama didn't stop. Behind the curtain, a nasty rumor started gaining traction, and this time, it wasn't about Rachel, it was about Gal. A new wave of critics began to circle, and what they were saying, brutal. Apparently, people weren't just mad about Rachel's interviews, they were turning on Gal's performance too. Her acting called wooden. One critic on Reddit savaged it with, "Gal's acting isn't something you watch, it's something you survive." Oof. Another said, "Gal Gadot is living proof that being gorgeous will get you cast, but staying cast? That's a different story." And let's not forget, the internet has range. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, even YouTube reactors were dragging Gal like it was open season. Comments like, "If you've seen one Gal Gadot movie, you've seen them all."
Can't help thinking that Disney's executives must have been wishing they could also give the star a poisoned apple that would set her to sleep.
Her range is from smiling to slightly less smiling. Wonder Woman must have been a fluke. One viral post even asked, how did she even get cast as Wonder Woman in the first place? It was savage, and it wasn't just a fringe group whispering anymore. The snowball was rolling downhill fast. Critics began arguing that Gal's iconic roles were more about aesthetics than talent. And with Snow White tanking, Disney suddenly had a second face they were trying to distance themselves from, not just Rachel's. And that's when people started putting it all together. Gal's Hollywood Walk of Fame star, announced right before the movie's release, it started looking suspicious, like a rushed PR stunt, like a desperate attempt to prop her up while the rest of the campaign was falling apart. Was the timing convenient? Absolutely. Was it authentic? That's where the debate exploded. Many fans started suspecting Disney was trying to buy some good press to balance out the media storm. One blogger wrote, "The star was just a glittery distraction from a collapsing fairy tale." Another op-ed asked, was Gal's career in need of a savior? Suddenly, Gal wasn't just caught in a feud. She was trapped in a full-blown identity crisis.
They flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go visit personally with Rachel Zegler to say, could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful.
Her clean, polished image was now under scrutiny, and her silence, that wasn't helping. Critics began wondering whether Gal was simply avoiding the fire or strategically letting Rachel burn alone. Because while Rachel was taking the heat, the threats, the internet hate, and the corporate ghosting, Gal was playing it safe, silent, removed, far, far away from the chaos. And people noticed. Even Gal's most loyal fans started questioning the optics. Was she distancing herself because she disagreed with Rachel, or because she saw the backlash coming and didn't want to go down with the ship? Some insiders believe it's the latter. One source claimed Gal is meticulous about her image. She doesn't make moves without thinking about long-term brand consequences. Translation: when Rachel went rogue, Gal hit reverse. Now, here's the kicker. This isn't new behavior.
Time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats. And maybe that's a weird takeaway for this video. This is a life.
Gal's critics pointed out she's had trouble handling controversy before. Flashback to that cringeworthy Imagine video during the pandemic? Yup, that's still haunting her. And let's not forget her past remarks on international conflicts. Those didn't age well either. So now the question isn't just, did Rachel sabotage Snow White? It's also, did Gal coast through this disaster, hoping her co-star would take all the blame? At the end of the day, this entire fairy tale turned fiasco has left both actresses with scars. Rachel Zegler, a once rising star now facing internet exile and public doubt. Gal Gadot, a Hollywood darling now facing mounting questions about her actual talent and her integrity. But if you think this feud is dying down anytime soon, think again. Sources say Disney is quietly scrapping their original Snow White marketing plan. The sequel discussions? Frozen. Future appearances together? Off the table. And while Rachel may be boxed out of Hollywood's next big wave of remakes, Gal's future isn't looking that magical either. This wasn't just a box office disaster. It was a branding implosion. The studio wanted girl power. What they got? A battlefield. One where tiaras were thrown, villains were crowned, and the fairest of them all turned out to be the most unpredictable. So what's next? For Rachel, it might be a PR detox and a long sabbatical. For Gal, a reinvention or a reckoning. But for Disney, they better start taking notes. Because the next time they try to reinvent a classic, they might want to make sure their cast actually likes each other.